Bahamas. Alright, we're off on another adventure. Where are we going, Kiki?
I don't know, you just told me to go on a plane.
We're heading to the Bahamas. What are we doing?
I'm just here for the adventure. I have no
Alrighty, so we're about to board the plane from Fort Lauderdale to North Eleuthera. From there, we'll take a little ferry to Spanish Wells, and we're excited. It's going to be a beautiful trip.
a flight to Eleuthera, and then we just took a little ferry to Spanish Wells. So now we're taking our golf cart to our Airbnb.
It's a beautiful day.
Water's so amazing.
This was a quick lightning strike mission. We really only had one full day in the Bahamas, so we decided to book a half-day charter with Salty Pig Charters. So the first spot we visit is debris from an old shipping container. It sits in about 20 feet of water, and as soon as we hop in, we spot a Cubera snapper that spooks and a nice little grouper that goes up into the wreck. So hard to see from the surface, but if we zoom in here and slow it down, you can see that grouper slowly go up into the wreckage. And Kiki's down on a dive here. She sees the grouper, but unfortunately we don't have any flashlights on this trip, so it makes it tough to see down there. And she ends up taking a shot and missing a snapper. So here in the Bahamas, we're only allowed to use primitive spearfishing gear, meaning pole spears and slings. So no spear guns, nothing with a trigger, which makes it that much harder, but it's a lot more fun. You got to get a lot closer to the fish since you don't have as much range and as much control. So on my next dive here, I'm looking for that grouper again. I do end up seeing it, and I get what I think is a good shot with the Hawaiian sling, but it just doesn't hold, and we don't end up seeing that grouper again. But while I'm down here, I do notice a lobster. So after this dive, I'm going to go up and get a little Lionfish pole spear, which is a shorter pole spear. It's kind of easier to angle back into these tight situations here. So this is a 3-pronged spear. It's a little short. It doesn't have as much power, which kind of hurts me here because this lobster has a really hard carapace. So it's a fresh lobster, and the spear just bounces right off of it. Luckily, I'm able to see where the lobster goes. It shoots out of the other side of the shipping container, and I just make my way over there, and I'm able to get a good shot the second time.
That's why when the spear wasn't going through, his head's so hard. Got it? Thanks.
So the next spot we visit is this flat bottom reef, and there's a ton of beautiful conchs here. So we grab a couple. Here's Kiki coming up with a nice shell, and Buzzard's over there getting one too. So we take a couple home for dinner. These guys are delicious, one of my favorite seafood, so we are pumped. The next spot Captain Gary takes us to is a series of shallow ledges in about 30 feet of water, and right off the bat we notice some lionfish. Here's Kiki taking down a really nice one here. These are an invasive species here in the Atlantic. They're causing all kinds of problems, and they don't have very many natural predators. They also taste great, so while we're not happy to see them, we are happy to take this one home for dinner. Then we find a nice rock with a couple spiny lobsters on it, or crawfish as they say here in the Bahamas, and it's Buzzard's turn now, so he comes up with a really nice lobster on his first dive.
Yes, sir. No gloves or nothing. He just manhandles them.
Next, it's my turn to get in on the fun here, and I spot a nice lobster in a hole here and take a shot with the Hawaiian sling. And nice thing in the Bahamas is one of the only areas where you can spearfish lobster, but sometimes it doesn't always work that well. A lot of times the spear bounces off of them, and sometimes the best way is the old-fashioned way, just grab them by the hands. Word to the wise though, if you are digging your hands in holes, use caution, make sure there's nothing that's gonna bite you or prick you. So no sea urchins, no lionfish, no moray eels. Trust me, you don't want to learn this lesson the hard way.
Yeah. Huh? I might have knocked him off. So, there's another one back by where Buzz is shot. I see another set of antennas on the far side too, past the lionfish. I'm gonna get that lionfish. There's a couple down there.
As always, we're diving one up, one down here. This is the safest way to dive, and also the most effective for getting fish. So now it's Kiki's turn. She's going down on a lobster here, and she makes a textbook shot and extraction. She gets the spear into the lobster, gets a hand on it, brings it right up to the surface.
Got it, girl. I'm gonna go get the one that's on the move.
This lobster got a little fed up with all the action going on and decided to make a run for it, and I make a rookie move here. I try to shoot it with the pull spear, and this pull spear has a slip tip which isn't exactly designed for shooting lobster. It's more so designed for shooting fish, and I just cooped the shot and missed it, which actually worked out in my advantage because he led me to another spot with even more lobster in it. I spend a few minutes on the surface here before I make another dive. A big mistake that I see a lot of people make, especially in this type of environment where there's a lot of adrenaline and you want to get back down and get the lobster, but people just don't spend enough time on the surface. And the reason why you want to do this, you want to give your body time to reoxygenate your lungs, expel CO2, and get your heart rate down. This will allow you to make much longer and more comfortable dives. There's another one back up in there. There's another one in there. Again, I spend a few more minutes on the surface breathing up before I go down to get one last lobster. And this time I finally get a good shot off with the Hawaiian sling. This one tries to make a run for it too, and I put the shaft right in his carapace and the flopper goes through, so nice easy extraction here. And we are happy with this amount of lobster. This is one of the best seafood in the sea, and we're going to really enjoy eating these tonight. Captain Gary did a really great job staying right on us all day long. Made us feel super safe and made our job super easy.
That's the one that's been shot 15 times. Finally said screw it, came out.
He's a survivor.
Okay, I lied. I see one more lobster here, and we've got 7 lobster on the day. We're allowed 10 per boat here in the Bahamas. So we're going to go down and get one more for the dinner table. On my way up from the dive, I notice off in the distance on another rock a hogfish, just camouflage, kind of sleeping on its side. And I can tell at the surface that Kiki spots it as well, so she's in the perfect position to go down and shoot it.
Yep, good spot. Yeah, go shoot it. Woo, nice one! Hell yeah! Nice, yeah! All right,
Yay.
right in the eyes.
Right in the eyeball.
Holy straight through the eyes,
In the eyeball, so no meat got wasted.
Awesome.
Nice. That's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Oh, wow. It's so pretty. Yeah, right to the eyeball.
All right, Kiki, tell us about this fish.
I saw, well, when you went down for the lobster, when you were coming up, I saw him just over in the corner, and he was camouflaged, laying face down, or laying down like this. Thought he was sleeping or dead. I don't know. And then got closer, got a nice eye shot. So no meat. The meat will be perfect. Thank you, fishy.
The meat will be dinner.
Yes.
So the last spot we visit is a really interesting one. It's all kinds of debris and rubble, and this right here is a bulldozer. Don't know how it got there, but certainly is holding a lot of life. And we noticed a really nice hogfish here, big male, even bigger than the one that Kiki shot. But somehow this fish just pulled a Houdini act on us and probably just went up into a crevice somewhere and camouflaged itself. We looked everywhere for this thing and just couldn't find it. We did notice some snapper and some smaller groupers here, but we decided not to take them, and we settled for some lionfish, which I think we ended up with 6 on the day.
Thank you.
Here they come. They're coming up. Mama. Oh. Oh. A little baby. She's got a little baby.
Oh. Here, dolphin. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very upgraded one. Out of stainless steel.
Yep.
All right, then.
So is it a specific point on the crown that you're hitting?
It's usually right in this area is where we find the attachment. Can do it. Right.
Just cut that muscle right there and shamalama ding dong.
Just throw this martini juice stuff.
I know, but
Just kidding.
There's running with it.
Totally kidding.
Ta-da!
Wow.
Nice.
Make it look easy.
I know. You made that look so easy. It's like he's done this before.
We're gonna have to find a
Is
tool.
that your first day, Gary?
You know that?
No.
Anything boys can do, girls can do better.
Yep. All right. So we're here. Oh, you pulled a foot.
Whoa!
Yay!
Good job, Kiki.
Gonna pull the foot.
Teach me the ways.
I got you.
That's awesome. All right, so sad news. We've made a critical error here on this trip. We did not bring any fillet knives, and we're having a really hard time finding any here on the island. So we're gonna attempt to clean these fish with a cutlass and basically a little kitchen knife. Anytime we take a fish's life, we want to make sure that we're honoring our catch, getting as much of the meat off as possible. So since my knives are a little dull, I'm going to take my time here, get as much as I can. And the last thing we're going to do is slice the head. We're going to take the head home as well. It's customary here in the Bahamas and the Caribbean to eat the head of the fish. This is where a lot of the good nutrients are, and a lot of people throw this part of the fish away. So we're going to try to get as much as we can off of it. So I'm through with one side here. Not too bad. Left a little meat on there. Had to get the dive knife, something a little sharper. This kitchen knife wasn't getting it done. So I'm gonna start on the next side here. Flies are getting pretty bad. Sun's coming up, so hopefully we can get this done here soon. All right, so side 2 is done here. Again, not my best work, but we got the job done. And I just want to explain something about these hogfish here, why they're considered one of the best tasting fish in the sea. Just as you can see, the meat is super white. There's no bloodline on this fish like you normally get with a snapper or grouper, that little red line that runs down the fish. So really tasty meat. As you can see, the flies love it. And we're gonna leave the skin on this fillet, so when we come back, bring the fish back to the US, if we were to get stopped by authorities, that way they can identify the fish, make sure it's not a prohibited species, and we'll be on our way. All right, so the next thing we're gonna work on here is the lionfish. These guys are an invasive species here in the Atlantic. They're a nuisance. They compete with a lot of the native fishes and they eat what they eat. So they're a major problem. They're spreading like wildfire here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take these scissors and we're gonna cut all these spines. So we got spines on the pectoral fins, the dorsal fin, and even the anal fin. So we actually started cleaning these guys yesterday and Buzzard got pricked. His hand swelled up like a baseball. So that's why I'm up so early doing this today. So we're gonna take these scissors, cut these spines, and then this one's got a fat old belly on it. So we're gonna see what she's been eating and then clean them up just like a normal fish. So here we have the filleted lionfish. Here are the carcasses and all the spines that we cut off. The flies are getting real bad out here now, so I'm trying to hustle. These fish, you can see, kind of similar to the hogfish, super white, translucent meat. All these little dots on here are the scales. They've got these tiny little scales. But again, similar to the hogfish, there's no bloodline on this fish. So delicious, nice white meat. All right, the last thing we're gonna do here is the lobster. The crawfish. Simply gonna twist the tail, separate it from the carapace, and clean the tail out and good to go. My wife says she has a present for me. Oh, you found it! Where was it?
In the grass.
Exactly where she
Right
said.
Exactly where she said it was. Guys, let this be a lesson. Wife is always right, always.
Exactly where it is.
You can't even find the ketchup
Right
in the front
grass.
door. Can't even find the ketchup in the front door.
How is it?
So good.
Tasty?
Yeah, so fresh. Why not? I'll get it. I'll get it. You do this next one.
Right back to the hot water. Oh no.
Yes, you got this.
No bad words, no bad words, no bad words.
Oh yeah, he's not happy.
Thank God for the gas station machete.
This is the first lobster that got shot in the head that didn't want to break, remember?
Oh, yep.
Because he was so hard.
Told him. I mean,
Wow.
dang.
Gosh,
Good
darn.
job.
All right, heat therapy. Heat therapy.
Whoa, 10W30.
Fruits of our labor. Man, that's about as fresh as you get.
Yes. Caught a few hours ago.
around this.
How's the first bite?
Amazing.
All right, so we're vacuum sealing these fillets. That way we can package them up for the plane, no leakage. And we're trying to get them as cold as possible for the ride back. This is all the lionfish. Lizard yesterday. Show his thumb. That's what a lionfish sting looks like.
Oh my gosh.
It's like twice the size. What did I use to fillet it? I used the cutlass and a dive knife. Very ideal way to clean fish. Amongst the flies.
I guess it's better than a butter knife.
Yeah, I tried to use the kitchen knife and then it was super dull, so I switched to the dive knife.
So for traveling, you want to make sure you take a fillet knife with you.
Yeah, that was a big
So when your
mess up.
Airbnb does nothing but butter knives.
That was a mistake.
Well, now we know. Lessons learned. The painful way.
All right, so once we're done packaging everything up, We're gonna put it in our handy Noritic cooler bag here. It's nice and insulated, and this thing is perfect. It's perfect size for a carry-on, and we love this thing. All right. So anytime we travel to cool places like Spanish Wells, I love to research and look into the history of the area. So the history here is pretty fascinating. Spanish sailors that were traveling back from New Providence back to Spain would stop here in Spanish Wells, and they dug wells in the beaches. They dug into the sand until they found fresh water that they could fill up for their journey home.
Watching this video.
This was our first time visiting Spanish Wells, and definitely won't be our last. Beautiful little island, right? So if you guys are interested in doing this, make sure you're doing it safely. Make sure you dive safe, never dive alone, and we highly recommend taking a course. We offer freediving and spearfishing courses here in Florida, so check out our website, livefreediving.com.
And if you like this video, let us know in the comments, and be sure to check us out next time.